Koalas are fascinating. Marsupials native to Australia, often called koala bears, though they're not actually bears. Their scientific name is Phascolarctos cinereus. They're known for their fluffy ears, large black noses, and sleepy demeanor, spending much of their time napping in eucalyptus trees. Koalas are arboreal, meaning they live in trees, and their diet mainly consists of eucalyptus leaves. They are quite selective eaters, as only certain eucalyptus species provide the necessary nutrients, and they require large amounts of these leaves daily to sustain their energy. They have a low metabolic rate and spend around 18 to 22 hours a day sleeping to conserve energy. Their unique adaptations, such as a special digestive system, help them process the tough and toxic leaves they eat. Koalas are also known for their distinctive vocalizations, especially during the breeding season, when males use loud bellows to communicate and attract females. Sadly, koalas face numerous threats, including habitat destruction, climate change, bushfires, and disease, which has significantly impacted their population in recent years. Conservation efforts are in place to protect them, focusing on preserving their habitats and mitigating the effects of climate change. Let's dive into the different aspects of koalas. 1. Behavior. Koalas are known for their calm and solitary nature. They're not particularly social animals, except during the breeding season. They tend to live in home ranges within eucalyptus forests, where they spend most of their time in the trees. A typical day for a koala involves finding a comfortable tree branch, settling in and snoozing for most of the day, sometimes up to 18 to 22 hours. This long sleep is essential for conserving energy, as their diet of eucalyptus leaves is low in nutrients and requires a lot of digestion. Koalas are mostly solitary except during mating season. Males are known to make loud, deep bellows to attract females, and these calls can be heard from a distance. Males may also mark their territory with scent glands near their chest. 2. Diet. Koalas have a very specialized diet, consisting almost exclusively of eucalyptus leaves, which are fibrous, tough, and toxic to many other animals. To cope with the toxins, koalas have a large cecum, a part of the digestive tract, where bacteria help break down the leaves. They are very selective eaters, preferring only certain species of eucalyptus, and they eat a significant amount, around 500 grams, about a pound, of leaves per day. Despite their diet being low in energy, koalas' slow metabolism helps them conserve their energy, which is why they spend so much time resting. 3. Anatomy. Koalas are about the size of a small dog, with adult males weighing between 8 to 14 kilograms, 18 to 31 pounds, and females being slightly smaller. They have thick, soft fur that provides insulation from the heat and cold, although they can also suffer in extreme temperatures. Their large, fluffy ears help them hear better in the dense forests, and their strong, curved claws allow them to grasp and climb eucalyptus trees with ease. One of the most striking features of koalas is their large black nose, which helps them detect the scent of eucalyptus leaves, an essential part of their diet. Koalas also have a special adaptation in their hands, with 2 opposable digits on the front feet, making them great climbers. 4. Reproduction. Koalas typically breed once a year. After mating, the female will give birth to a tiny, underdeveloped joey, about the size of a peanut. The joey crawls into its mother's pouch, where it will stay for about 6 months, feeding on milk and developing further. After emerging from the pouch, the joey rides on the mother's back for several months before becoming more independent, though it remains dependent on the mother for a longer period, as it learns to survive in the wild. 5. Conservation. Koalas face many threats to their survival, and their population has dramatically decreased over the years. Habitat loss due to urbanization, deforestation, and bushfires is a major threat. In 2019 and 2020, devastating bushfires in Australia affected thousands of koalas, and many perished in the flames or from smoke inhalation. Climate change also plays a role by altering the eucalyptus forests, changing the availability of food, and increasing the frequency of droughts. Disease is another issue. Koalas are susceptible to chlamydia, which can lead to blindness, infertility, and even death if left untreated. The disease has had a significant impact on koala populations in certain regions. There are ongoing conservation efforts in place, including habitat restoration, protection of existing habitats, and wildlife corridors to allow koalas to safely move between areas. Some zoos and wildlife sanctuaries are also working to breed koalas in captivity to help boost their numbers. 6. Cultural significance. Koalas are an iconic symbol of Australia. They are often associated with the country's wildlife and are a popular subject in tourism, representing the country in various forms of media, such as postcards, souvenirs, and advertising. Due to their cuteness, they also serve as an emotional symbol for environmental campaigns focused on preserving wildlife in forests. Absolutely. Let's explore some additional fascinating details about koalas. 7. Habitat and distribution. Koalas are found in the coastal regions of eastern and southern Australia, including parts of Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia. They live in eucalyptus forests, woodlands, and occasionally in urban areas with enough trees. Their home range can vary in size depending on the availability of food and water, but generally, males have larger territories than females. Koalas prefer areas with a diversity of eucalyptus species, as this provides more options for food, especially as they are so selective in their diet. The ideal habitat for a koala includes a mix of mature trees with dense canopy cover for safety and cooler temperatures. However, urbanization and the expansion of agriculture have fragmented their habitats, which makes it difficult for koalas to travel freely and access the trees they need for survival. 8. Koala social behavior. Though koalas are solitary, they still communicate with each other through vocalizations, scent marking, and body language. Their loud bellows, particularly from males during the breeding season, are used to establish territory and attract mates. Interestingly, their calls are so deep that they are often compared to the sounds of a bear, even though koalas are marsupials. In addition to vocalization, koalas may also mark their territory with scent glands located near their chest. They rub their chests against trees to leave a distinctive odor that warns other koalas to stay away. 9. Sleep and metabolism. As mentioned earlier, koalas sleep for up to 18 to 22 hours a day. This is largely due to their low-energy diet, which requires significant effort to digest. Eucalyptus leaves are toxic and fibrous, so the koala's digestive system is slow, and they need plenty of rest to process their food. Since koalas are solitary animals, there is no need for them to be active during the day to socialize or hunt for food. They simply find a tree, huddle up, and sleep. Their low metabolic rate also helps them conserve energy and avoid competing with other species for food in the wild. 10. Threats to koalas. Beyond habitat destruction and disease, other challenges include predation. While koalas are relatively safe in their tree habitats, they can still fall prey to dogs, foxes, and dingoes. However, predation is not as significant a threat as other factors. Road accidents. Koalas are at risk of being hit by cars when they attempt to cross roads, especially in areas where their habitats have been fragmented by urban development. Wildlife corridors and koala-safe roadways are part of some conservation strategies to reduce this risk. Extreme weather events. With climate change, koalas are becoming more vulnerable to extreme weather events, such as prolonged heat waves and droughts. These events can reduce the availability of food and increase the chances of wildfires, which pose a major threat to their population. Koalas in zoos and wildlife sanctuaries. Several zoos and wildlife sanctuaries in Australia and around the world have programs to care for injured, orphaned, or sick koalas. They also engage in breeding programs aimed at preserving the species. Some zoos also educate the public about koalas and their conservation, focusing on the importance of preserving their habitats and supporting the protection of endangered wildlife. 12. Koalas in popular culture. Koalas are beloved around the world and have a significant place in popular culture. They are often depicted in media as cute, cuddly animals, making them a symbol of Australia's unique wildlife. They've appeared in various movies, cartoons, and books, sometimes as characters or just as part of the backdrop of Australian-themed stories. Their image has been used on everything from soft toys to logos for eco-friendly products, contributing to their role in environmental and wildlife conservation efforts. 13. Koala conservation efforts. Many organizations and governments are working to conserve koalas and their habitats. Some of the most prominent conservation strategies include reforestation, planting new eucalyptus trees and restoring degraded habitats to create safe spaces for koalas to live, protection of habitat corridors, creating wildlife corridors linking fragmented habitats so koalas can safely travel between trees and find food without crossing dangerous roads. Disease management efforts to treat and manage chlamydia outbreaks, which are common among koalas, are essential to protect the population's health. Wildlife rescue and rehabilitation. Many koalas that are injured by road accidents, fires, or attacks from predators are taken to wildlife hospitals for treatment and rehabilitation, before being returned to the wild. 14. In the wild versus in captivity. While koalas in the wild live solitary lives and are adapted to survive on their specialized diet, those in captivity, like in zoos or wildlife sanctuaries, face different conditions. They often need supplementary diets, as captive eucalyptus leaves may not have the same nutritional value as those found in the wild. The goal in captivity is often to rehabilitate and release koalas back into their natural habitats. However, some koalas that are permanently injured or unable to survive in the wild may live their lives in sanctuary settings, where they are given the best care possible. It seems like you're interested in even more information. Let's continue with a few more details and interesting facts about koalas. 15. Koalas' special adaptations to their diet. Koalas have some unique physiological features that help them thrive on their eucalyptus diet. The koala cecum, pouch in the digestive system, is large and serves as a fermentation chamber where gut bacteria break down the tough eucalyptus leaves. This is crucial because the leaves are low in nutrients and difficult to digest. The fermentation process helps extract what little energy is available. Slow digestion. Koalas have a slow digestive system, which allows them to extract maximum nutrients from their food. High toxin tolerance. Eucalyptus leaves contain toxic chemicals called phenolics and terpenes, which can be harmful to many animals. Koalas have developed a high tolerance to these toxins, and their liver is equipped to detoxify them over time. 16. Koala communication and vocalization. Although koalas are solitary by nature, they still communicate with each other, especially during the breeding season. Bellowing calls. Male koalas have a deep, booming bellow that can carry for several kilometers. This call is used to assert dominance, attract females, and warn other males to stay away from their territory. It's particularly loud and surprising for such a small animal. Grunting and humming. Koalas also make other sounds like grunting or humming. These quieter noises are often heard when koalas are interacting with each other or when they are feeling threatened or disturbed. Silent communication. In addition to vocalizations, koalas communicate through scent marking. They rub their chest and face on tree trunks to leave their scent behind, indicating their presence or marking their territory. 17. Koalas and their relationship with other species. Though koalas are often seen as peaceful and solitary, they do interact with other species in their ecosystems. Predators. While koalas don't have many natural predators, they can fall victim to foxes, domestic dogs, and even large predatory birds, especially when they are on the ground or in low trees. However, these predators don't pose a significant threat compared to other dangers like disease or habitat loss. Symbiotic relationships. The koala's reliance on eucalyptus trees makes it an important species in the ecosystem. The koala helps to keep the eucalyptus forest healthy by dispersing seeds and pollens as they move between trees. Competition with other species. Koalas do face competition from other tree-dwelling animals, like possums and other marsupials, for space in the trees. However, their specialized diet of eucalyptus leaves means that they can often coexist peacefully with other animals that have different food sources. 18. Koala population and the risk of extinction. The koala population has been in serious decline in recent decades, mainly due to habitat loss. Urban sprawl, logging, and agriculture continue to destroy the forests that koalas depend on for food and shelter. This forces koalas to move into smaller, fragmented pockets of forest, where they're at greater risk of predators and road accidents. Devastating bushfires, especially those during the summer months in Australia, have burned large swaths of koala habitats. The fires also cause direct harm to koalas, burning them alive or causing severe injuries from smoke inhalation, chlamydia and other diseases. Koalas are vulnerable to several diseases, particularly chlamydia, which causes eye infections, infertility, and can sometimes lead to death. It's a major health issue for koala populations, and efforts are underway to study and treat the disease. Currently, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, lists the koala as vulnerable due to these threats. Conservationists are focused on preventing further population decline through habitat restoration, disease management, and fire protection strategies. 19. Koala conservation success stories. Despite the many challenges they face, there are some hopeful stories of koala conservation, habitat protection and restoration. In certain regions of Australia, Koala conservation efforts are making a difference. There are efforts to restore degraded eucalyptus forests and create safe wildlife corridors, so that koalas can move safely between trees and forests. Some areas now have protected land where logging and development are restricted. Koala health and research programs. Some wildlife hospitals, such as the Koala Hospital in Port Macquarie, are dedicated to the care and rehabilitation of injured koalas. These hospitals also study diseases like chlamydia, and researchers are exploring ways to treat and manage these health threats. Breeding programs. Zoos and sanctuaries are involved in breeding programs to help boost the koala population. These programs focus on genetics, disease prevention, and habitat education to increase survival rates for the young. 28. Koalas and Indigenous Australian culture. Koalas have held a special place in Indigenous Australian culture for thousands of years. They feature in some Dreamtime stories, traditional Aboriginal mythology, and are sometimes considered spiritual or symbolic animals, representing calmness and connection to the land. Indigenous Australians have long understood koalas' dependence on specific types of trees, and they respect their role in the ecosystem. 21. Ecotourism and koalas. Koalas are a significant part of Australia's ecotourism industry. Many visitors travel to Australia specifically to see koalas in their natural habitat, or they visit sanctuaries and zoos to get up close with the iconic marsupial. This tourism brings in vital funding for conservation projects and education on the importance of preserving wildlife.